my goodness, here we are. It is time, y'all. I am all kinds of excited and all kinds of nervous and so many feelings, so many emotions. Getting ready to do this class, don't even know. So I'm starting with a little bit of my energy. All morning today, I've been putting on peace and calming and stress away and valor because I was really nervous doing this class. I don't know why this particular class just has gotten me. You know, I teach, I'm 3 times a week, I'm online. I do classes in front of thousands of people. I've spoke at Grand Convention. This particular one just has me in the feels. And I'm throwing on a little bit of frankincense now. I already put frankincense on like 25 billion times today. Hello, hello. I see people popping on. I'm glad it's working. So, energy, frankincense, and I just gonna keep oiling up the whole time that I'm talking. Because, like I said, I don't know why this class, this time, has me with all the feels, but I am telling you, I told Brian I'm gonna block all of the words so I don't see people commenting because I know I'm gonna be emotional. See, I'm already starting. I haven't even started the class. I don't know why. I don't know why this one is just hitting me, but sharing my story and being a little more raw with all the stuff going on is going to be a little bit much. So bear with me. I have my tissues over here in case I need them. I've got my oils. I've thrown on frankincense. I've thrown on all of the emotional oils today. I'm throwing on some gratitude right now because I am so thankful for all of you for coming and just for being a part of my whole journey as I've been getting well, because I know I've shared as I've gone along with all the different things, and I am so grateful for you guys. You have no idea what your support, your prayers through the years have meant. And I just want you to know that I appreciate you. I also appreciate that you're sharing with other people, that you're sharing this video. So even if you are brand new and this is the first time you've been introduced to Young Living and I'm that first intro for you, and something clicks for you and you're like, oh my gosh, that just makes sense. It's something you want to do. I am grateful for you, but I really want you to tell other people. I want you to share this with other people. Share the video, share it to people. And if you do, if you're brand new, somebody shared this with you, and I share something that I got from Young Living, most of what I'm sharing is lifestyle. But if it's a product and you're like, oh my gosh, that makes sense for me, get back with whoever shared this video link with you, and they're going to help you. They're going to give you a 10% off coupon that you can use when you buy your stuff. So all kinds of good stuff. If you found me on your own, shoot me a private message and we can chat. We can come up with a plan of action for you and get you that 10% off. So all the different things, but gratitude for each and every one of you. So we are going to be talking about everything I've done to release as of this morning, 96.4 pounds, 96.4. And I'm just like, I can't, I'm so excited. That has been since January 1st of this year, 96.4 pounds. Now, in order to really share my story, I have to kind of go back in the Wayback Machine just a little bit. I know some of you guys know my story, but I also know we're going to have a whole bunch of people that don't. So back in 2020, when all the COVID crazy happened, I was hospitalized. I had open heart surgery. I ended up on a ventilator for about 3 months, and I was in the hospital. My lungs were filling up with water. My body was just I was dying. They were giving me all the meds, trying to keep me alive. Praise God that medicine was there because there was always a place for it. But when I walked out of the hospital, not walked, I actually called an ambulance and left the hospital at the 3-month mark after I was off the ventilator because I needed to get out of there. I really felt like they were killing me. That's a whole nother story. But I weighed 478 pounds in the hospital when I left. Now, I don't count that as my starting weight because they had me on all these steroids and stuff to keep my lungs working and to keep the fluid out. And the steroids, all the stuff they did, it gave me diabetes. I ended up with really high blood sugar. They had me on a insulin pump because it was so high in ICU and everything. And it was crazy. And all of the steroids, just so you know, most people don't realize steroids raise blood sugar. It's just a known thing that they do. So because of all this, I came out of there such a mess. High blood sugar, 478 pounds, fluid everywhere. In and out of the hospital for the next 2 years, fighting for my life on full-time oxygen, high flow at some points. I mean, it was just on a BiPAP and oxygen at nighttime on 5 liters. It's a host of different things. So I don't count that as my starting weight because I really see that as it was all medically induced. So if you don't think that the meds, the drugs, the pharmaceuticals that we were on have a role in your weight, I'm here to tell you you need to look it up, because a lot of those things we are struggling with is actually, some of it is the meds that we're actually on. So I'm just going to throw that out there. But January 1st, which is where I'm going to talk to from this point, so that 2 years in there, I was fighting just to stay alive. And it was, you guys that watch my story, I'd be feeling good, and then I would crash and be back in the hospital. Feeling good, back in the hospital. I had constantly having to get transfusions because I was extremely anemic. I have chronic lymphocyte leukemia on top of everything else that I was dealing with, and it was just this massive struggle. And during this whole thing, and the time leading up to it, I had been dieting like crazy, like constantly keto, and I would talk about keto on our workshops because I always tell everybody everything that I'm doing. And we had tried vegan for a really long time. We had tried intermittent fasting and extended fasting. There's multiple videos you can go back years ago where we would do a 40-day water fast, and I did Weight Watchers and Jenny Craig and low fat and all of the different things that I'm sure a whole bunch of you guys have done as well. And that was just the cycle that we were in. And because I had been sick for so long, December of last year, I really had the feeling that I wasn't going to be here any longer. Like I had battled and I had fought, and I was just kind of tired of that cycle. And I kind of decided, if I've only got a few months left, I want to enjoy the process. I'm tired of starving. I'm tired of always being hungry. I'm tired of always being weak and tired and all of the different things. And so instead of trying to be thin, I mean, I was averaging, so you know, during this season, I was averaging 800 to 1,000 calories a day and doing the guilt like you wouldn't believe. If I had a handful of grapes with my granddaughter, I would suffer from massive guilt because now my ketones aren't going to be what they're supposed to be. And what's wrong with me? Why can't I stick with it? And all of the emotion that goes along with when you feel like you're failing, because you cannot live in that type of constant, what's wrong with me? And because stress, I'm telling you, stress kills so bad, trying to be perfect, trying to live up to everybody's expectation. It is exhausting. The fatigue that comes with constant stress, not being able to breathe, not being able to exercise, all of those things, those were that chronic stress. We kick up this massive amount of cortisol. It's absolutely insane. And so I decided, if I'm gonna die either way, don't judge me. This is just where I was. I want to enjoy the process, and I want to eat some stinking fruit. I want to be able to eat cantaloupe. I want to be able to eat berries. I want to be able to eat all of the different fruits. I want to be able to have breads. I want to be able to all those things. I said, if I'm going, this is just how it's going to be. And so I made some changes that I took all of the things that I liked the best and I kind of put them together. And so I gave myself back fruits. I gave myself back unlimited vegetables. Having to measure and weigh your veggies and make sure you're not having too many it was a constant pressure. I brought back all of the ancient grains. I'm telling you guys, I'm going to do a whole series on the ancient grains and how good they are for your gut and how your body will thrive on it. And there's a reason why we crave all of the grains, why we crave it, and we call it comfort food, because your body thrives on it. But it's the ancient grains, what they have changed and what they've done to our grains. Our cells don't know how to work with it. It has so many more chromosomes than it used to, and our body can't work with it. So I brought back the legumes. I brought back all of the things. And here's the biggest: if I was hungry, I ate. And that might not be a problem for you, but I had so believed that there's only certain windows you're allowed to eat, and I really believed in that window and not eating and only eating a tiny bit. And I truly believe I was just chronically starving myself, and I couldn't breathe and had no energy, partly because I was starving, because there was nothing there and my body couldn't burn the fat for fuel. So I just was in this constant state. So I brought all those things back. If I was hungry, I ate. Usually 3 to 4 times a day I would eat something. My base was always a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner. I brought back that, as weird as that sounds. And I know it is contrary to everything that you were being taught about the windows and what's important. And this might not work for you. I'm telling you that when I made the change, I figured I was dying, so I might as well go back to eating. That was truly where I was. But I also knew that there were some things that I couldn't do. So I do want you to know, sometimes I skip breakfast. I still sometimes skip breakfast. If I'm not feeling it, I don't want to eat, I don't eat breakfast. If we're out and about doing stuff and there's nothing I want, I'll skip lunch and we'll have a bigger dinner. I'll eat dinner. Sometimes I skip dinner because we get home really late. The other day I did a post and I said, oh, it's after 7 because I try not to eat after 7. Not for any legalistic reason, but because for me, I still have lung damage. I still, when I lay down, it's harder to breathe. I'm on oxygen and a BiPAP at nighttime. So if I eat after 7, it's harder to breathe. But I posted that, and I'm telling you, such aggressive answers. People that were private messaging me, telling me, that's horrible. Listen, it's okay. Your body's going to be fine. But in general, we need to give our body back food. We just need to. So this is how my plates look still to this day. I look at my plate. 50% of my plate is veggies and fruits. So if I want cantaloupe with my dinner, I can have cantaloupe. It doesn't matter how much glucose is in the cantaloupe. I can have as many green beans. I can have as much of the veggies. And I know some of you are going, oh yeah. Listen, for me, I was so limiting because of the keto, making sure I didn't go over my carb count, that it was a nonstop stressor for me. And now 50% fruits and veggies. And I'm telling you, we need that wide variety of color. We need our reds, and we need our greens, and we need our purples, and we need our yellows, and we need our oranges. All of those different fruits and vegetables have different polyphenols, vitamins, minerals that your body is starving for, that it absolutely has to have as building blocks. So I brought back those 50%. So I also do things like my Ninja Red. Ninja Red is phenomenal. All of those reds, all of those superfruits. I'm telling you, there's entire groups on Facebook that are doing these 14-day runs of basically doing your Ninja Red at 6 ounces a day, and they're seeing phenomenal things happening with weight and with health and with aches and with pains and with immune system. And that's just our Ninja Red. So imagine if you're doing the foods and you're throwing in the Ninja Red, because that's what I do. 3 ounces in the morning. I do 3 ounces with my lunch of my Ninja Red every single day without fail. Amen. And to me, it's one of those boosters. It's part of why I feel like my breathing, my energy, all of those things, that Ninja Red, that's one of those Young Living products. For those of you that don't know, we also have Ninja Greens, which is all of the greens, all of those vegetables. It's those healthy mushrooms you can do. We have Master Formula, so you're getting all those bibets, those little tiny pieces that we don't even know how important those are. Those are in our fruits and vegetables. That's where that's at. They're multi-greens. Any of those, so you can pick and choose, but up your fruits and vegetables in your daily life. You cannot supplement away a poor diet. You just can't. You have to make sure you're getting good, real foods and rotate the foods that you're getting. So on my plate, 50% fruits and vegetables, but then 25% is protein. I am now the biggest believer in good protein, making sure you're getting a larger quantity. And I know this is going to be a trigger for some of you, but I eat 130 to 150 grams of protein every single day. I know for some of you, you're going to say, well, you can't absorb that amount, blah, 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 blah. Listen, this is what I know. I know that my energy is better when I'm doing high protein. I know that since I've made all of these transitions, I have not had to have a transfusion for my iron, for my blood transfusion because of the anemia. I haven't had to have it. I think my last one was April, and I was having to have them almost every other month because of the leukemia and stuff. I haven't had to have it because I have my proteins. I make sure that they're good whole proteins. We're talking beef. We're talking all the cow, all the chicken, all the turkeys, all the eggs, all of the different things, the organic grass-fed milks and cheeses, all of those. I go for them, but I also brought back legumes. Legumes are high in protein, giving myself the variety of being able to have black beans and white beans and northern beans and refried beans and all the different things, and making whole foods out of those and adding them to my diet. My body's loving it. All of those peptides, all of those proteins break down into peptides, and those peptides go in and build my muscles. They build me. They build my tissue. They build my heart and my lungs. I'm visualizing not just that my skin looks so good, which we'll talk about what I've done to make sure that I don't have all the sagging skin, but I really believe part of it is getting those good proteins in there and making sure you get good sources. We're going to talk about a couple of my favorite sources in a minute, but I also made sure on that plate, so we had 25% protein, 50% veggies, the other 25%, give me a minute because this is like one of my favorites, I brought back whole starches. I brought back squash. You guys, delicata squash is my favorite squash in the universe. Just so delicious, so amazing, and I had to let it go, but it's full of all of those good carotenoids. It's got all those A vitamins in there. It's high in iron. Regular potatoes are high in iron and potassium and so many good things. And when we said, oh my God, carbs are bad, we threw out all the carbs, but the truth is, it's the carbs that are coming in the boxes. I want to say this too. So although I added a bunch of stuff, because this is adding food back in, one thing I chose to do is I'm not doing any, I know it's going to be hard, I don't do the processed foods. So I don't do, even if it's, I don't do processed foods. I don't do anything that comes in a box because here's my number one reason. So let's say I didn't care about the chemicals, and I do, and let's say the toxins didn't bother me, and they do. The big thing, I have a gene mutation that 60% of the population have. It's MTHFR, okay? And what that fancy big word means is that most of us can't take synthetic or fake vitamin B's because when we do, our body doesn't know what to do with it, and it actually causes a lot of problems, and we can't detox and we can't do things. Our body just doesn't function the way it's supposed to. But every food that comes in a box, they fortify. So when you buy regular store-bought bread, they fortify it, which means they put synthetic vitamins back in it. Well, if my body and 60% of us can't use it, I still say it's not a gene mutation. I say the other 40% are the gene mutation because they're able to use fake stuff that the body shouldn't be able to use. Like, it doesn't know what it is. It sees it as a foreign intruder, and it causes all kinds of inflammatory markers and all kinds of stuff, fatigue. It lowers the amount of ATP, which is your energy currency, because you're getting the fake, the faux. So I choose, like if I go out to eat, I eat whatever I want, but if I go to a restaurant, I wouldn't get a bun, not because I care about the carbs, but because I know that that bun has been fortified. They've added to that flour fake vitamins that my body can't synthesize. So here's the world according to Shannon. So we know that the B vitamins, MTHFR, right? We know that. And my brain goes, what about all of the other synthetic vitamins? I'm sure that some of us, our brains, our bodies can't use those as well. So I choose just to eliminate all of them. And I make sure that I get my B vitamins from like Young Living, our master formula packed with B vitamins. Why do you need it? It builds your energy source, your ATP, your ability to handle stress, your moodiness, all those things, B vitamins. We have our Super B. It's like a $20 supplement. Y'all, game changer. You'll be so much nicer. You'll have so much more energy. That's where I get my vitamin B's from. I also get them from all those whole foods we're talking about, all of those great proteins and the eating things like that grass-fed cow, that good beef that we eat. It's got the B vitamins in there. It's got the B12. I'm just saying, those are things that I do. So 25% of my plate is protein. 25% of my plate is real whole starches. So like I said, potato, squash, those ancient grains, nothing fortified. So important that you do that. I also, on every time I eat, it doesn't matter whether it's breakfast, lunch, dinner, or just a snack, I use olive oil, I use avocado, I sprinkle hemp seeds, I sprinkle seeds, all those good healthy fats. This is the world according to Shannon. I believe the reason keto works is because you got the protein and you got the fats. I believe the reason why people that go high protein works is because they're getting all of the bibets, the little pieces from one side or the other. What I think is that we make it so dogmatic and we make it so freaking hard. It shouldn't be hard. It should just be food. So what I do is I just sprinkle those over my plate. And one of the big ones I use is olive oil. So the Mediterranean diet is like the most successful diet. All the studies go around and they say the Mediterranean diet is amazing. And there's lots of little reasons why they say it's healthy. Here's one thing that was my takeaway from the Mediterranean diet. and that is olive oil. When you look up studies, so there's something called GLP, and a lot of people are getting injections, GLP injections from different medications that they're taking for weight loss, and they're losing weight at really fast speeds. I'm not losing at fast speeds. I'm losing at moderate, healthy speeds, and I'm totally comfortable at the rate that I am losing. But did you know that GLPs are made by me? They are made in my small intestines, and those my small intestines actually send a signal by different foods that we ingest that trigger our body to do them. So glucagon-like proteins, peptides, those right there are made by me, and I can increase them or decrease them by what I put in my system. So what I chose to do, so January I just changed my plate. February I was just changed my plate. I didn't start studying. But in March, when I found out that I had the gene mutation for the MTHFR, I already knew that, but they also found out I have a gene mutation that means I don't make leptin. The leptin is the hormone that tells you I'm full, I've had enough, and let's go for a run. That's leptin. I'm missing one of those. Brian is missing one of those, both the opposite. So my youngest daughter, Brianna, is actually missing both of those. And what that means is she doesn't make any leptin. She has no signal that says she's satisfied and she doesn't want anything, or she wants to go get up and do stuff. She doesn't have any. So in researching that for her, I started researching how can we make other hormones that tell our body we're full. This is when I came across the GLP. And GLP is made by you. We also have peptide YY, again, made by us, that says, I'm full, I don't need any more, I'm good. One of the triggers that turns on the GLP, it's called a secretagogue, is olive oil. Stinking olive oil that's been in the Mediterranean diet that we've all been told is so good for us. And then we were told fat is bad for us. Then we're told it's good for us. Listen, I started increasing my olive oil. The difference in my appetite was so quick. It was mind-boggling. Within 2 weeks, the difference was huge. Now let me tell you, the studies, because this is a lot of the studies that you find are because they're trying to make a medicine. They're trying to make a medicine, so they study different parts and pieces. So one of the parts and pieces that they studied in the olive oil is I'm looking at the word, hydroxytyrosol. Hydroxytyrosol is one of those things that flips on switches. It's in olive oil. So when I first read that, the study that they were doing, the big study they had, was 2 tablespoons a day of olive oil. And I'm like, I can do that. So 2 tablespoons of olive oil, just took a big mouthful. And, it feels, it's a grease, it's olive oil, so it felt oily. It was no big deal. Didn't have a real big flavor, olive oil flavor. I drank that down and I spent the next 2 days in the toilet. So I'm here to tell you, do not start with 2 tablespoons up front. It got things moving very, very quickly right through me. If you ever need a good cleansing, a good clean, just grab some olive oil. We'll do it for you. So then I changed it up. What I did instead is I took the olive oil and I would do a teaspoon. So just a little teaspoon. I think I started at half a teaspoon actually. I also added it into my tea, which we're going to talk about the green tea that we do and why it's so powerful. It's a part of that family. It's a part of those ones that flip the switches. Tea leaves, y'all. Tea leaves are being studied right now. The constituent that's in green tea is being studied, and we see all these magazines telling us green tea helps you lose weight. Now we know why. It's because it works on the incretin, which is the hormone that tells the GLP-1 to kick out. It's the one that makes us feel full. So what I've basically done is I've taken all these little parts and pieces and I put them together. So the olive oil, I just drizzle over all 3 of my meals, but I also add it into my tea in the morning. I make this Feel the Burn tea, and I add lemongrass to my sleek tea, which we will talk a little bit about. It's that green tea. It is our sleek. It's got the ocotea in there, ocotea leaves. It's got lemongrass, all these things that help to increase the burn. Who needs to increase the burn? So again, I don't know which piece you need. Maybe you already do olive oil and you do a lot of it throughout the day, so that piece might not be for you. But one of the things that we have is our olive essentials. Olive essentials is a capsule that we have, and one capsule has the same amount of hydroxytyrosol, which is in the olive oil, as 1 liter of olive oil. I'll just let that hang for a minute. That's our Olive Essentials. It's already out there. Olive Essentials is amazing for your cardiovascular system, for your heart, for your immune system, overall health. That Olive Essential is in there for. So I take one in the morning when I eat my olive oil and I do my other things. But then I take one in the evening, between 4 and 5, depending on when we eat our dinner, because that way I'm getting that twice a day along with my olive oil, because they all help with those triggers. All those green foods we're talking about, those are also secretagogues for your body, kicking out GLP-1s and that peptide YY that we talked about. Every one of those. Also in our Olive Essentials, we have rosemary vitality and parsley vitality essential oil. You can do some Googling on the rosemary and the parsley. I really understand some of the stuff that Young Living has put together through the years that they haven't been able to really explain to us, but it is powerhouse. So they're just ones that go in there and kick. And that sleek tea, our sleek tea is delicious. It is an oolong sleek tea, oolong green tea. They're a high quality green tea leaf. And again, it has all that good stuff in there. It has your ocotea leaf in there. So you're getting, ocotea leaf is a plant that's from Ecuador, and we actually get our ocotea essential oil extracted from those leaves. And that ocotea and the green tea leaves that are in there are some of those that are flipping those switches that tell us you're full, that you feel satiated, that you don't want anymore. So it's power. It also has inulin in there. It has cocoa powder in there, so you get that little bit of a chocolate undertone, but it is that dark chocolate. So when you think of what are some of the other things that they say for weight loss that we can do, it's already in there. And so what I've done is I've just taken all these little pieces from 1,000 different things, and I just threw them together into bibets. So you can look at it and go, okay, this I think I need for me. Like in that green tea, we also have vanilla and frankincense powder. So you're actually getting the resin that you're getting from that frankincense. So much research on that. But vanilla, you know, they have studies showing just the aroma of vanilla and what it does for making you feel comforted and satiated. So having vanilla going when you're cooking or eating or and your diffuser going, you're going to see some amazing things happening. So it's already in there. And then it's just sweetened. That particular tea is only sweetened with stevia. So it has that wonderful little sweetness. So what I do is I just take one bag, because I think there's like 30 in a box. And I take one bag and I brew it in the morning, and I put my lemongrass and my olive oil, and I use my little mixer thing just in it, so it kind of gets that all in there, so it emulsifies it. And I drink that down. Then I take that tea bag and I will make another tea bag later in the day, and then I put them in the refrigerator, and I'll save 5 bags at a time, and I brew that as an iced tea that I can sip on throughout the day. So I don't use those ones at nighttime because it does have, it's green tea, so I gotta get a drink real quick. It's green tea, so it has a little bit of that caffeine in there, naturally occurring, but it's in there. So just simplifying my eating and when I ate was huge. Like the stress that it took off me. Some of you may not understand that kind of a stress that I was going through, but finding out that, like, for breakfast, so what does that look like? The 50, 25, 25? For breakfast, I might have eggs, but in my eggs, I'll throw tomatoes and onions and garlic and some kale or spinach, and I throw all my veggies in there. If I want to, I do a little bit of potato that goes in there, and I have that. And then to make sure I get enough protein in that meal, I would probably have a little bit of Greek yogurt and then put fresh blueberries. So that would be that's a big breakfast, but it's also high protein. So you're getting that. If I wasn't going to do like the yogurt in with that, I would add something like our Pure Protein Complete. I am obsessed with our Young Living's Pure Protein. In there, we've got 25 grams of protein. Do you know how powerful that is? 25 grams, but nothing negative. I am blown away at all the protein drinks that people are drinking out there with so many chemicals that are in there. It's like, I don't understand how we think that just grabbing that is okay for us and how it's not going to affect our cells. This Pure Protein Complete, we have vanilla spice, which makes 1,000 different flavors. You can throw blueberries in there. I like to throw pumpkin in there, so it makes a pumpkin spice one. But in addition to all of the protein from 5 different protein sources, it has all of the different enzymes it takes to break all of that stuff down, so we get massive absorption. That Pure Protein is going to increase your ATP, that energy we're supposed to have, the metabolism that we're supposed to have. We have it in chocolate flavored, so many different good ones. And the types of protein in there are pea protein, hemp protein, egg white protein, and then 2 different types of whey. We've got goat and beef whey protein. And all of those proteins, those are the ones that increase that satiation so you feel full. Because part of the reason that the GLP-1s do what they do, your natural GLP-1, is they go, ooh, there's all kinds of good stuff here. Okay, stop. Don't give me any more food. I want to digest and get all the nutrients out of this right here. So it slows the digestion, slows what's happening, so your body can break down all of the good stuff and suck all the nutrients out of it. That's that hold that it does. So when it gets all the greens and it gets all those different colors of fruits and it gets that high protein, it gets those good healthy fats, and it's real food, the body's like, ooh, I don't want to just push this through the system. I want to be able to absorb and get the nutrients out of it. That's why that hormone is in there. That's why GLP-1 can trigger that slowing so that we can pull everything out of it. And when it slows it, it tells you, ooh, don't put anything else in. I got to work on everything that's here. And so it's that combination of things going on. So my lunch would be something like chili, and my chili is beef and all of the different beans and tomatoes, and I throw your peppers and your onions, but I also throw in carrots, and I throw in the kale, because it all cooks in there. So it's all kinds of veggies with all kinds of meats and proteins, and then I'll have it with something like a apple walnut salad with a fresh raspberry dressing. You can make a ninja red dressing and put over it, and I use olive oil in that dressing, so I'm getting the olive oil, so I'm layering all of those nutrients. My dinner would be something like a beef and veggie stuffed squash, that delicata squash. So you can take your ground beef and throw all your veggies in there, put a couple of eggs in, stir them up so it all cooks like a stuffing. If I had leftover like einkorn bread, I could turn it into a real stuffing and put in there, and then I would have that with like roasted asparagus and a salad with strawberries on it. So it's just whole food. It's nothing weird. It's nothing that takes a lot of time. What we do is every single Sunday we chop up all of our produce. So we don't prep meals. We prep the supplies. So we'll cut up all of our different greens, and my greens change every week depending on what is in season or what they had or what looked fresh. And then we mix all of our greens together. And if I'm going to throw some greens in my eggs, I just take a handful out of that. So it might be kale and spinach and collard greens that time, and then the next time it's something else, because that's also what we use for our salads. So we prep all of that. We cut up the celery, we cut up carrots, we have it all ready. So when we're ready to eat and I'm like, oh, you know what I feel like? All I have to do is take some ingredients and throw them in, because it's just whole food. It's just simplified. The only thing I have to make ahead of time is if we're going to have any of the breads with all of our ancient grains, because they take a little bit longer. A friend of mine just mentioned that, reminded me about sourdough, so I'm going to try doing some sourdough breads as well. But the einkorn breads, I don't bloat from them. The einkorn, I can make biscuits and muffins and cookies and all the different things, and I don't bloat. I don't feel uncomfortable. I digest. And again, those wheats, those ancient wheats, are meant to be absorbed by us, so we don't have that same gluten reaction that we have with the other stuff. I don't have the, if I make my pasta, or I have the einkorn pasta that Young Living has, and I have that, I can have that for dinner, and I don't feel bloated. I also don't feel hungry and wanting to eat right afterwards, but I feel very comfortable. It's like, oh, that was such a good bowl of spaghetti, because I had to give all of that up, and we don't have to. We just have to bring in foods. I just seen Mary's question. So how do you keep it fresh if you cut it in the middle of the week? So we use glass Pyrex containers. And so I might even do a class where I just show you guys what I do. We prep all of our stuff and we keep it in the refrigerator, and it really does. Like, we'll make our salad starters is what I call them. So we throw whatever veggies we cut up in the bottom, then the lettuce on the top, as full as we can get it, the little 2-cup ramis. And then when you put the lid on, you hear it go, because it's pushing out all the air, and those will stay good 6 to 8 days in the refrigerator, already prepped like those. Now, like my lettuces and all of my greens, they're not really paper towels, but they're paper towel wannabes, and we take our towels and we wrap it around all the produce so there's no water getting in the bottom. And again, we seal the container so it stays fresh. Some of the stuff you have to eat sooner, like the berries, those are at the beginning of the week, but then the apples and the pears and that type of stuff, we can do those later in the week. So we prep and eat the stuff that will go bad quickly. The other stuff we get at the end. Asparagus, you always wait to prep until you're going to eat it, because it will go bad. So the day that Sunday is typically our asparagus day, because I know that will go bad. But Brussels sprouts, I can clean those and eat those 7 days later. So you'll get to You'll get where you can just know which ones you can do quickly and the other ones. And then what I do is I don't waste any of it. So if I look and stuff looks like it's starting to go, then I take it and I put it on a big cookie sheet and I will freeze it in the freezer. Then I put it into portion sizes because then I throw it in my soups and I throw it in that stuffing that I was talking about and I throw it in all the stuff. So I don't waste any of it, but any of the stuff that's turning like your herbs and stuff, if we're having, I'm big on pico de gallo. I love Mexican food. I could do Taco Tuesday every single Tuesday and Thursday. But cilantro will turn quickly. So we'll have cilantro as one of the first things we're going to eat. We'll put it in pico de gallo, and any leftover I will freeze, and then I put them in small portions so I can cook with them. So those are just some of the little bibits of things that I like to do as well. So what else? So just taking away that stress. I'm telling you, taking away the stress and food just being food for fuel, and looking at my plate and going, okay, I need to add more veggies to that one. The stress going down, because that stress kills, right? So made such a huge difference. I truly believe cortisol is it's a hormone that makes us hold on to fat. It partners with insulin. Your body cannot burn fat when you are under stress. So if you're under constant stress trying to do everything and be perfect, you're not going to do it. And one of the things that I added that I'm not going to tell you what you have to do and what you shouldn't do, but Ninja Red and Cortistop, those are, if you're going to just pick and choose, I'm telling you that Cortistop is powerful. It's a supplement that we have that literally helps us control how we respond to stress. So stress is not going to go away. Stress is always going to be a part of your life, but how we respond to it, how my body handles it, are two different things. And that Cortistop helps my body to handle the stress, those energy levels, the cardiovascular system, all the things. And in our cortisol, there's pregnenolone and DHEA, which are precursors to all the other hormones in your body. I've got a great hormone class that we just recently did. Actually, we got a class on adrenal and thyroid this Monday that will partner with that cortisol. It is powerful. And in that cortisol, you have the oils of clary sage, Canadian fleabane, fennel. I cannot say enough about fennel. It's not fennel essential oil. If you are only going to grab one oil for this part of your life, for this, it would be fennel. Fennel is amazing for what it does for metabolizing, for helping your metabolism and helping with the burn. So you can get fennel vitality and just drink it in water, but it's already in your cortisop. Frankincense, peppermint, notice those two keep popping up. Another one that I use a lot when it is stress and using up stress is Idaho Grand Fir. Idaho Grand Fir, to me, when I'm using my Idaho Grand Fir, it used to be one that we could tell people to eat. Now it's not a vitality, so I can't tell you to do that anymore. But in my brain, that Idaho Grand Fir, I can see it going in, finding stress, gobbling it up, and releasing it. It is just that quick for me. So I know some people feel that way about Stress Away. So that can be a one that you use to bring those stress markers down. Idaho Grand Fir is that to me. It is an amazing, just calmer. You can also try Stress Away and vanilla. Remember what I said about vanilla? For some people it does that. I also feel like there's oodles of oils that I just take in capsules or shot glass. I was going to bring a shot glass and show you guys what I do. So there's a lot of oils that go in and they give those triggers. They help us to be able to relax. They help me get into that state. And these are ones that I love, and they come in vitality. Lemongrass, I already mentioned that in our sleek tea. Powerful. It is a warm oil, so that's one that you're probably going to want to do in capsules. But I do about 20 drops of the lemongrass vitality 2 to 3 times a day. So do a little research on that and why I would feel that way. Frankincense vitality, peppermint vitality. You know, I had only been in for a couple of months, and a gal comes in and said, I have been eating 20 drops of peppermint every single day, and oh my gosh, I can't believe. And she's telling all these amazing stories about her weight, and I'm thinking, okay, like it just kind of blew my mind. But it's one of those you tuck back here, you just tuck it. And so when I started doing all this and finding out about the triggers and things, I thought, maybe we need to up that peppermint game, up my peppermint eating. So peppermint, that's one. Clove, grapefruit vitality. Y'all, it is powerful. Grapefruit is in our sleek line, our sleek essence. Sleek essence is another one. That is an oil that we have that is grapefruit and tangerine and spearmint, lemon. What else is in there? Ocotea. and it's got a little bit of stevia in there, so those oils all are emulsified. When you use the Sleek Essence and you put it in water and drink it, it makes the oil go all the way through it because the stevia makes it emulsify instead of float on the top like most things. So Sleek Essence is great that way. Endoflex Vitality. I don't think you've ever been with me, that's frankincense, and me not have my Endoflex Vitality. We're going to be talking about this one at the thyroid and adrenal class that we're doing and why it's so important, but this is the topical. So this one you can just put right here over your thyroid and your adrenals and give it a love. You can breathe it in, you can put it in your diffuser, all the things, but we have Endoflex Vitality that you can take. You can put that one just in a shot glass. So when I say I put them in a shot glass, I literally put whatever oils I'm going to do just in a shot glass, and then I put a little bit of water and I use a toothpick. I stir it around and I sip, swish, and swallow. So usually it takes about 3 times of sip, swish, and swallow to do it. But it's a way for me to get in a whole bunch of my edible oils so that I can get on with my day. Because if I had to make capsules for all of them, it would just take all day long. But like my lemongrass is hot. Some oregano is hot. So those ones I would put in a capsule so that I'm not like burning my little tongue. Clove is hot. So keep that straight as well. And then there's a couple, like I said, the Ocotea. We do not have Ocotea Vitality, but there is Ocotea edible in the Sleek Essence. So you'll get some in there, and then the Idaho Grand Fir. And then real quick, because I know, am I coming up on my ending? Holy smokes. Okay, so I want to talk about 2 other things. I want to talk about exercise and how I implemented it and what I do. And then I want to talk about my skin and the elasticity of my skin and how it has restored. First, exercise. The first 2 months, January, February, I did not try to exercise at all. I was still on full-time oxygen. I was still in a wheelchair. I couldn't get up and do much. But I did bounce. So I would just sit in my chair and I would do bouncing because I know how good that is for the lymph system. And then I also was doing my little hand weights, and I would do different things with my hand weights. But April, May, I started doing a little bit more. My phone would go off. I had the alarm set for every hour, and I would get up and I would walk. So I would walk from the living room into the kitchen, into the office, and I just did these little circles around the house. And then I would sit down, and I would be winded like crazy. In January, February, it must have been February, March sometime, I started physical therapy, and that helped a lot. I went to physical therapy, them helping me be able to get out of the wheelchair and start having some leg strength and some strength in my hips, and be able to do a little bit more mobility because I hadn't been able to do anything for so very long. But that helped a lot. And then came May, June, we were able to open our pool. And that was a big game changer for me because I love being in the pool. Absolutely love it. And I would go out at least twice a day. Once I would go out and do laps in the pool, and I would swim, and I would jump, and I would do just anything. I would go up the stair, down the stair, up the stair, down the stair, just trying to strengthen some of that. And then the second time was usually I would be out there playing with my grandbabies, and we'd be swimming and splashing and just having a really good time out there. And that was kind of a game changer. And that I did that all summer long, and I loved it. I remember it was sometime in maybe April that I realized that I didn't need my oxygen. That I was able to go out there, because usually in the pool we have the big old long oxygen cord running from the house to outside, so I could be out there. And it was sometime in April that I was able to be in that pool and have fun with the kids and not need my oxygen. And that was so just exciting on its own. And each thing has been a continual progression. And every time I go to the doctor, and my blood work being perfect and not needing to, because I used to have to get my blood work checked almost weekly just to see where I was on iron and see what if I was going to need to do different things, and watching that change happen. And then when the pool had to get shut down in September, I really got nervous because the upper body strength to hold my body to walk for a long period of time just wasn't there. Even in physical therapy, we were doing a lot, but it's a lot when you're trying to hold 350 pounds and you're trying to walk and you hadn't been walking for a long time. And so I got nervous, but we went ahead and we brought my treadmill into the bedroom so that in the mornings I would wake up, I would go to the bathroom, and then I would go walk on my treadmill. And that was the first thing I did. Water, bathroom, treadmill, because it wasn't something I wanted to do. It was something I knew I needed to do for my health. And if I procrastinated, if I did it later in the day, I wouldn't get it done. I would be busy with stuff, and then if it was in the evenings, if it was after 5, 6, I have MS, so I am weaker in the evenings than I am in the mornings, and I would try to get on the treadmill, and I wouldn't be able to do it. So I switched it. It was water, bathroom, treadmill, and just getting on there. And that first day when I got on there, my goal was if I can do 3 minutes, even if I walk, stop, walk, stop, walk, stop, I'll be proud of myself. And I did 6 minutes without having to stop. And I was blown away. Like, are you kidding me? 6 minutes? I was so proud of just that number. And then I chose to do something later in the afternoon as well. So it could be a walk outside. It could be whatever I wanted to do, but something that got me up and mobile and breathing. The word aerobics literally means in oxygen. So because I was trying to work so much on my heart and on my lungs, that's what I needed, was in oxygen. In addition, I had my weights, I had my kettlebells, I had my stretchy bands, but here just maybe 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, I was able to do 15 minutes without oxygen on the treadmill, without having to stop, and just absolutely giddy. And that, it was just bibets. It was just little, whatever you can do it, and do it consistently until you get stronger. And my goal by the end of this month is to be at the 18-minute mark again, without needing the oxygen, without my heart rate dropping, because mine drops and I pass out, and all the things. And that's what I am seeing. So it's all, none of it was huge. Like, I'm not running a marathon, you know. Do I have in my dream board that I want to be able to be and walk the Bobby Crim? You bet your bippy. It's every August. That is one of the things that when I do it, I'll know I finally hit that healthy spot. And that's a big race that they have here in Michigan, the Bobby Crim, and I want to be able to walk that. And will it happen this year? I don't know. But I no longer feel like this is my last year. I no longer feel like I'm dying. I feel like there's so much more in me, and I can see a future where I can do all the things. And again, I don't know which piece of this you need. I don't know if any of it even rings true to you. I'm just me sharing my story. But do something to get your body moving. I'm just saying, there's things you can do. All right, the last thing I want to share is my skin, because I think I get asked that more than anything. Since I posted my before pictures, I have been sent a bunch of different messages, people asking questions, and one is really big on my skin. So as you notice, I don't have the sagging skin. As you notice in the first pictures, this is just all one big, my face was very, very large, and it has changed, and it's all tight. And these are the things that I believe did it. One is internal, and it's called sulfurzyme. Our tissue is intertwined. Our muscles, our skin, our cells, it's intertwined. And sulfur is a super necessary nutrient for that. So I believe my sulfurzyme is a huge part of that. I take the equivalent of 10 capsules a day, or 4 teaspoons, and I just put it in my Ninja Red. So when I drink my Ninja Red, I put a couple of teaspoons of my sulfur in there, and I drink it up. I believe that has helped with it. I also believe that amino-wise is the branched chain amino acids that we have, and it's all those little bibets and pieces, a lot of the different minerals that are in there we need, along with mineral essence. Mineral essence is 70 different ionic minerals that all go together to feed my cells. So I take all 3 of those. So I put my sulfurzyme, my amino-wise, and my mineral essence right in my Ninja Red, and I just drink that twice a day. Which one did what? I don't know. I throw them all in there, and I just let them figure it out on their own. But it's just those basic nutrients, those puzzle pieces. But the other thing that I do is I am religious on doing our art skincare. Our art skincare is my favorite. We have lots of different choices. You can look at the one that works for you, but I do the art face wash. I do our moisturizer. I think it makes a big difference. And then I have 2 other things I want to share. One is our new firming cream, our frankincense sandalwood firming cream. So many different good reports that we have had from that. And the reports show that from this area all the way up, firming, I use it on my face itself. So any of those tiny little crow's feet, wrinkles, and things, I'm telling you, it is powerful. It is amazing. But I've also been using it in here, in this area right here. See this? I started using it. When did that stuff come in? Has it been a month ago now, you guys? When the holiday catalog came out, I got mine right away. And I have been using it there. I'm also using it, don't judge, on the girls. I rub it right in because those babies, I have lost a lot and just have some skin sacs now. So I've been rubbing it in there and firming them up as well. And then on my inner thigh, because that's where I tell Brian all the time, look, I've got thigh boobs now, because there's skin that is in that area and I need that firmed up. The other thing that I did is a mixture that I put together that is our Cellulite Magic. To that I add ledum, I add black seed oil, I add, oh my gosh, such a host of different things. I add, I'll post that picture for you guys. But what I like about it is it makes a big container, and I actually put it in a soap dispenser, one of the glass ones. It's all together because it's kind of thick, and I rub it all over the places. So like my stomach, yes, there are there are stretch marks. The skin is hanging down, but it is so much firmer than what you would expect from somebody that has lost 100 pounds. Same thing with my goofy thigh boobs. They're so much thinner than what you would expect. So I have been really taking those oils and rubbing them. So my hips, I don't see that problem on. This part of my arm, I don't see it. Even these, I don't think are as bad as they could be. So doing that firming cream, we'll see. But on my face and on this area, I feel like there's very little of that excess skin and the wrinkles that you normally get. So those are the things that I've been doing. I don't know if you've been doing some stuff. Share it in the comments if you have questions, that type of a thing. I will not be reading your questions and stuff. I purposely blocked it so that I don't see them coming in. I can just see them popping a little bit because I was really nervous about coming on and doing this call because I know, I'm not a nutritionist. So me saying what I'm doing for my food, where do I come off? I just know that I've tried a lot of things and this is working for me. This style has taken the pressure off of me completely. In January, we're going to be doing a weight loss challenge with our group. Just taking some of these best practices and just trying them, see what works for you. So if for you, you're like, I'm a vegetarian, I can't do that type of protein, you sure can do the legumes rather. You can do everything but the meat portion, right? So if you're like, well, the carbs just really get me, and you tried eliminating the other types of carb, the faux foods and the franken foods, and you still are getting bloat, then don't do the einkorn. Just, you can make it work for you. Pick like I said, if you're picking and choosing which stuff, which products, Ninja Red is number one. We've got a great kit that you can get for around $100, and you're going to get your Ninja Red and then our Nitro in there, and that we can get you that 10% off. There's so many different ways that you can go about this to get the little bibets that you need. Grab a bottle of fennel. It's like 20 bucks for fennel. Most of the oils that I mentioned are 10 bucks or less. So like your lemongrass is 10 bucks or less. Your peppermint vitality is less than 10 bucks. Your grapefruit vital, all of those are really inexpensive. So say you get your Ninja Red and then you throw in some of the other stuff. You get a box of the tea. You can play with it and see what works for you. And if you do it for 90 days and you're like, okay, I'm not seeing those big changes, maybe I'll try, or maybe I'll add, or maybe you can do you. You can do you, boo. All right, you guys. So I'm not going to look at these the rest of this day because this is my daughter's birthday and we're going out to celebrate. So I won't be back on. But later tonight, if you have questions, if you have thoughts, if you just want to give a little love, I will be reading all of those comments. They mean the world to me. And we'll chat later. Bye, guys.